All right, so this video is going to be for a white day, which is on the 23rd. And it will also be for next Friday, which will be a red day on the 30th. So if you're watching this video, it should be for one of those 2 days when you had reading. Again, the 23rd is a white day, and the 30th is a red day. Okay? So what we ended up doing today is we did read for about 30 minutes, so make sure you do that. Set a timer, all that kind of good stuff. And then outside of that, we went down and we did some more Greek and Latin root words. So I'm going to kind of go through this. You're going to want to, you're going to want to write this on a separate sheet of paper. And then when you get back, you will put it into your notebooks. That way you're all caught up. Okay. So last time that we did this, we ended up going over LOGY, and then we did all sorts of words that had that at the very end of it. And so we talked through how biology, bio means life, LOGY is a study of, so it's a study of life. We went through and did ecology, zoology, astrology, cardiology, chronology, and then psychology. This you have already done because that was in a previous class, so you do not need to write that down. However, you will need to write the next one down. So on a separate sheet of paper, you're going to make 8 different boxes, and it's going to be set up like this. I'm just going to go ahead and just show you this because this is what yours is going to end up looking like. But this is going to be on page 53. So you're going to make 8 different boxes about the same size. So on your separate sheet of paper, you're going to draw a line down the middle vertically and then down horizontally, and then divide those into equal-ish sections as well. Okay? Then after we did that, and again, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause until you get everything situated. But the ones that we ended up doing today, and I'll go through each one individually. The first one was this one. It was ist. And ist is one who is occupied with. So it's a person who's occupied with something. And so if we look at that, we could even use what we had last class in biology. And we would just put biology minus the Y and put ist at the end of it. So then bio is equal to life. LOG is study. And then ist is the person who's actually doing that. And so that's biologist. So biologist is the person who studies life. Okay, so you could have other examples on there as well. You could do ecologist, which would be, we can go over here. It would be a person studying, who studies earth. You could have zoologist, person who studies animals. So if you kind of looked at page 52 to kind of help you out, you could have other examples as well. Okay, so again, we're just looking at Greek and Latin roots so we can pull things apart, so you can kind of see how and why words are and what they mean in an easier way. Okay, so make sure you write that down. And then the next one that we ended up doing is this is going to be something that you will eventually get to in social studies. The one that was from the actual sheet is OLIG, O-L-I-G. That means few. And then the one that I actually added that was a separate one that's not on our little sheet on page 52 is archy, and that is equal to rule. And so you put olig and archy together, and so it's ruled by a few. Okay? That's a type of government that's ruled by a few people based off of our Greek and Latin roots. Okay? So make sure, again, you write that one down, and then you're only going to write one more down today. And what that one is mono, and mono is equal to one or alone. And so if you combine mono and archy together, you get monarchy. And so that would be ruled by one. So again, you're going to see those words later in social studies. So then you can be able to say, hey, I already know what that means. Ruled by one is monarchy, and then oligarchy is ruled by a few. Okay, so on a separate sheet of paper, you should have all 3 of those that I talked about on that piece of paper. I do want you to take a picture of it so you can send it to me so that I know that you did it, so I can give you credit that you did those. So make sure you send that to me. And then when you get back to school, you'll bring them back and we'll put them on page 53, tape it on there, and then you'll be caught up. All right. Outside of that, we ended up going and talking about figurative language. So I'm going to kind of go through that process with you and kind of what we talked about there. So on page 13, we talked through the different types of figurative language. This should be a review for most of you to talk through just the different types of figurative language that there are. Figurative language is, like it says here, figurative language is used by writers to add unique description, tone, pattern, or flair to their pieces. And then we have some examples. So instead of being literal, because literal means you're doing exactly what the words say, where figurative is using the words given to describe a situation creatively. Okay, so I'm going to go through the different examples of them, and then you guys are going to write some down on a separate sheet of paper. So the first one is onomatopoeia. These are sound words. When you're writing, you want to be careful not to use too many of these words because they can kind of get too many of them. But these are words that sound like they're said. My favorite one is squish, because when I think about squish, like it sounds like that, and it's like if you were to squish something, it sounds like that word. Okay. But other ones are boom, ah, crash, clink, tap, tap. Like all of those things have that sound for that word. So it's onomatopoeia. Okay, the next one is personification. Personification is it gives human characteristics to a non-human or a non-living thing. So for instance, right here, the tree waved in the breeze. It's not a tree outside like waving hi to me. It's waving in the breeze because there's a lot of wind. The house stared down at us. The house is not actually staring down at us. It's probably just a very tall house. So it seems as like the house is staring down at us. So it's just a creative way to talk about things in the sense of getting us to understand what, like, gives us a visual of what's going on. Okay. Then we have alliteration. Alliteration is actually one that we have seen in one of our mentor texts. I'm going to show you that really quickly. So that mentor text that we did that has this example in it is this one from page 20, the one with Marcus Vega. We actually talked through this where it has the same sound at the beginning of the words. So Mastodon of Montgomery Middle, it has that M, the M sound. Springfield, skyscraper, moving, mountain, terrible too. So those are different types of alliteration. A lot of times with alliteration, you're going to see that it could be kind of like a tongue twister or that kind of thing. But it has to be the same sound. It does not necessarily have to be the same letter because sometimes the same letter doesn't always make the same sound. But down here, the third example, it says, the fish is by the phone. So yeah, it's not the same letter, but it has the same sound. So alliteration, same sound. Okay, then we get to allusion. Allusion is a common cultural reference that is famous because of a book or a movie or a show. A lot of people know that saying, and people will use that saying in the sense of they're alluding to the movie or the show or whatever happened with that particular instance, but they're using it in a different way to, like, say good luck. So for instance, this one right here, may the force be with you, that's from Star Wars. But if someone were to say that to me, it would mean like, good luck, you can do it, believe in yourself, that kind of thing. Okay. Anyway, so those are different things that would be alluding to a famous book, movie, or show. Then we get into hyperbole. Hyperbole is it's exaggeration of reality. So it's not. I'll just give you an example. So this second one here, it says the girl wore a ton of makeup. So what they're trying to tell me there is that the girl had a lot of makeup, like too much makeup, but she is not actually wearing a ton of makeup because a ton would be 2,000 pounds. There's no way that girl is wearing 2,000 pounds worth of makeup because that would not work. This one right here, it was 1,000,000 degrees outside. They're trying to tell me that it's really hot. It's not actually 1,000,000 degrees outside because if it were, we wouldn't be here. Okay? So it's hyperbole. You're exaggerating to get the point across. All right, then we got on the back, we have 3 more. So we have idiom. Idiom, there's a lot of idioms. This is a figure of speech. It's a well-known phrase that you don't take literally. And so there's a lot of examples here. And you're going to start, as you're getting older, start to see these and hear them and then say them yourself. But this top one, it says, it's raining cats and dogs. We don't take it literally. That just means it's raining really, really hard out. It doesn't mean that when you walk outside, there's a Great Dane that falls on your head. Okay, so it's raining cats and dogs. You have to think about, well, what are they trying to get me to understand in that particular instance? I'll do one more. Let's see. Let's do feeling a bit under the weather. You've probably heard of that one, feeling a bit under the weather. That just means that you're feeling sick, you're feeling ill, you're feeling just not quite right, just feeling a little bit under the weather. Okay, so it's a figure of speech. It's common, it's well known, and it's just a phrase to kind of that we don't take literally. All right, then the last two are simile and metaphor. I'm going to do these two together because they're very similar, but they are also different. It's them comparing two things, or comparing two ideas, and simile uses like or as, where metaphor is saying that it is this, or it was this, that kind of thing. Okay, so for example, this one right here, it says her hair was as golden as the sun. So we're comparing hair to the sun, and we're using the word as to compare those two. Versus this one over here, it says the room is a pigsty. And so them saying that is it's not, you're still comparing the room to a pigsty, but you're not saying like or as. But you're still comparing. You're saying it is a pigsty. So you'll see other examples on there, but those are the different types of figurative language that we're going to be searching for in different books, and what you're reading actually as well. So I'm going to kind of show you what I want you to do for this one. You're going to get a separate sheet of paper, and on that separate sheet of paper, oh, that's really zoomed in, sorry. On that separate sheet of paper, you are going to draw 8 boxes like we did before, and I want you to, so line down the middle horizontally, and then split them into half so that way you have 8 boxes. You're going to label each box the 8 different types of figurative language I just talked about. So you're going to label that. And then I'm going to kind of talk through what these other things are. If you want to go ahead and write them down, that's fine, but you need to make sure you're listening to why I have those on there. Okay, because I'm going to go through the examples. So if you need to pause and write those things down, you can, and then you can come back to me and I'll go through the rest. All right, so I ended up taking the 2 books that we have done so far, the book a day. I did Mother Bruce and Tough Cookie, and what I did with the classes is we kind of went through to find different examples that we could see. I only did 3 examples. For now, we'll find some more as we continue to read different books a day. But this one right here, I opened it up, and this, obviously, he's roaring. That is an onomatopoeia. And so what I ended up doing with this is I'm just going to write that example down here, which is what I did right here. So an onomatopoeia, I made sure to put quotations around it because it is coming from the text. So it's textual evidence. And so I just put roar, and then I put MB from Mother Bruce. If you want to spell out Mother Bruce, you can, but you can just put MB. That's fine. We may make a key or a legend later so we know what that means. But that one is roar from Mother Bruce. It's an onomatopoeia. Okay. Sorry, I'm checking something really quickly. Oh, I spelled onomatopoeia wrong. Sorry. That's fine. All right. Actually, I'll fix it right now just because I'm in here. I was wondering why it looked weird. I spelled that wrong. So onomatopoeia. Okay. I had to fix that. Spelled it wrong. My bad. All right. Some other examples that I found. That was it for Mother Bruce for now. Tough Cookie, I went in and found some examples on this one. So I'm going to read it to you so you can kind of see why I'm saying this. So there's a spot here. It's going to be kind of dark. But right here it says, my raisins turn to ice. So he's comparing raisins to ice. And so it's saying that his raisins are ice. And so what that would be is a metaphor, because you're comparing 2 items, but you're not saying like or as. So on metaphor, I'm going to make sure to, again, put that into quotations, because those are from the text. Raisins turn to ice. And then I'm going to put TC because that came from Tough Cookie. But that is an example of a metaphor that I found in a book. So you're going to write that down. And then the last one we're going to write down is this one. I can find it. Give me just a second. Right here. So it says, darkness covers me like a damp sponge. Okay, darkness covers me like a damp sponge. So we're comparing 2 things again. We're comparing darkness to the damp sponge, but it's using the word like. So this is going to be a simile. So I'm going to go to the simile box, and I'm going to write this in it. And again, I'm using quotations because it's textual evidence. So darkness covers me like a damp sponge. And then I'm going to put that's from TC, which is Tough Cookie. Okay. So once you're done with this, you're going to make sure to take a picture of this page that you have so far. You're going to make sure to also bring that back because you're going to want to put that on page 13. That way you can put it in your notebook when you get back. Okay. So just a refresher, what you're going to send to me in an email, because you should have 2 separate sheets of paper. That first sheet of paper should be that you took a picture of is this one right here. You're going to take a picture of that and you're going to send it to me so I know that you did it, so I can give you credit on that. And then you're also going to send a picture of this that you also did and take a picture and send that to me so that way I can give you credit that you did it. And then when you get back to school, you'll make sure to bring both of those pieces of paper and you will tape it on the correct page for each one. Okay? All right, that's all I have for you. I look forward to those emails. Thanks.